Well, throughout their career, Westlife have amassed 14 number one UK singles. Only Elvis and the Beatles have more. Over 55 million records sold worldwide. I mean, think about that. 55 million records sold worldwide. Westlife have announced their first NZ show in more than 20 years as part of their Westlife 25 Anniversary World Tour. It is so cool to have Kian and Nicky in studio with us. Hello, guys. Thank you for your time.
Hello, how are you
doing? It's so great to be back on New Zealand radio after all these years.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, we never stop playing Westlife. No, sir.
So can we ask why, I mean, it seems like an innocuous question in some respects, but why have you decided to tour again?
Well, you know, this is our 25th anniversary tour, so it's really a tour celebration. It's probably just, you know, we've been going since 1999 and it's been 25 years of touring for the band. So we really wanted to kind of mark the occasion with something, you know, really big and special. And that was a proper world tour. Hence the reason why we're coming back down to see you guys in New Zealand. You know, on our last tour, we saw lots of fans talking about the fact that we weren't coming to New Zealand. So we made it a massive point this time around to make sure that it was on the list. It was one of the first things we sat with our management was that we needed to get back down to that part of the world and see all the fans that have been asking for us. So really, it's just about a celebration of us still being a band and, you know, New Zealand being such an amazing country for Westlife for all the years. I mean, we know how successful we were in New Zealand because we have lots of discs in our houses with New Zealand flags on them. So we're super excited to come back to you guys.
Have to say, because I was probably early teens at the time when you were last here, and now there's a group of mums who want a good night out and want to be able to sing Queen of My Heart. We want to be able to sing Flying Without Wings. So I think you've timed this anniversary perfect because we're all ready for a real good night out. Is it hard for you to get back to that same level of touring though?
No, not really, to be honest. And by the way, we just did New Zealand morning breakfast television, and the presenter was talking about his wife, and I think they said lock up your mothers. That was the headline the last time.
It's more like lock up your wives.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We came back. We split in 2012. We did 14 years from 98 to 2012, and then we all did our own thing. And that was a time where we had to stand on our own 2 feet and do me, you know, be me for a minute. We all did that. And then we came back in 2018, 19.
You realised he was nothing without me.
Yeah. and we had an amazing reunion tour. But we never got to New Zealand and other countries. We never went to Australia. We never went to America. And then on the last tour, our manager said, you know what? We're going to do Canada and America on this one. So we did that, as well as the UK and Ireland and Europe and Southeast Asia and China. And then we still hadn't gotten down to New Zealand.
Come on!
And that's when, this time around, we'd been off for the past 2 and a bit years. And we're obviously shaping up for this 25th anniversary. Our kids are getting older. You know, none of our kids, I think, have been to Australia, New Zealand. And we said, you know what? This might be the last time we'll ever do this. No, there's no guarantees. Let's put in New Zealand. Let's bring it back down there and relive the memories that we have of being down there with you guys. And even when we weren't there, when we'd hear the news of If I Let You Go and Swear It Again and You Raise Me Up being, you know, topping the charts. So it's a short life, and now we're going back down and we're going to have the best party ever in the concerts.
And it's funny because, you know, you talk about mums coming to concerts. Like, I feel like kind of like the New Zealanders are very similar to the Irish, you know. Yeah. All the mums like to get a few glasses of vino into them and get out there and just sing the songs.
Yes.
So we're well used to that, and we're well able for it. So bring it on.
Well, you know, it's interesting you mention your kids because and your wives and things, because that's one thing I've noticed that with touring bands recently. We've interviewed a bunch of them, and like with One Direction when they were there, they flew in, they basically went to the venue, did their concert, flew out. Elton John, same thing, he flew out on a plane like an hour after he'd performed. They don't even get to see the country, they don't get to see anything. So are you able to build that into your schedule when you say you're bringing your whole family? You want to explore these places you go to, don't you?
Well, look, definitely, for sure. I mean, you know, the last time we were in New Zealand, I actually got to go surfing there, so I got to put it on my surfing around the world flag. So I intend to do that again, and I'll have my 3 boys with me, and they all surf. So we definitely want to hit a few surf spots around New Zealand.
Nice.
But look, I think the most important thing for us is, you know, we don't just see this as oh, we're jumping on an airplane to do a few shows and go home. This is opportunity for us. This is like, this is how we make memories. This is
Bucket
how,
list, see the world.
It's bucket list stuff for sure. And the fact that we get to bring our families along, I think that's so amazing. We deliberately don't have anything on either side of the New Zealand block, because we wanted to come, bring our families, have a few days before the shows, maybe a few days after the shows, maybe stop off in Asia on the way there and have a holiday, or on the way back. So we definitely built it in. But I think, because we tour very differently. I think the way we tour, it's all based around our families and what we can do. We'll never do more than like 4 or 5 weeks at the most away from our families, even 3 weeks away from our families. And if it's anything more than that, they're coming with us.
One more quick question from me. What's the biggest difference between where you were? I mean, you both look fantastic.
Oh,
Nick.
yes.
Now you look very handsome. But obviously, there's a few years. It's lovely. The duck face works for you. So there's been a few years between when you started and now, clearly. But what's the biggest difference for you personally and professionally between then and now?
From the beginning till now?
Yeah.
I still can't get my head around the 17, 18, 19-year-old guys that we were when we first started. And this opportunity, like, obviously we went after it. We wanted to be the biggest boy band in the world. We had to have that delusional thinking. I think you have to have that competitive streak and delusional thinking. And we met Simon Cowell, and Louis Walsh was our manager. Louis had Boyzone, but we were looking at the Backstreet Boys, and when we were kids, we loved to Take That and New Kids on the Block, and we wanted to be that. We wanted to be bigger than that if we could be. That might sound a little arrogant. It really isn't meant to. It was like, that's how, I suppose, ambitious we were.
Vision, man.
And when we got the opportunity to sing songs, like in with producers like Steve Mack and then the Sheeran boys, we were recording Flying with Wings, Swear It Again, When You're Looking Like That, If I Let You Go, Then You Raise Me Up, we covered. World of Our Own was a big hit for us. There was so many. Uptown Girl was a big moment in Comic Relief. And then all of a sudden we found ourselves singing with Mariah Carey, Diana Ross.
Yeah.
And slowly, but we were, people were looking at us like we were looking at the BSB or Take That or New Kids. But we were still in these type of hotel rooms going, is this really happening? Is this really happening? Is this how, like, the fame is weird like that because you get recognized, but you don't change. It's what people look at you and how they approach you. Maybe you change a little bit. Maybe you buy yourself a nice pair of trainers or a nice car. But that was all the early days. Then you get married, have kids. But we were always the type of guys, genuinely, that wanted to share all these successes with our mates, with our families, with our parents. I bought my dad a Mercedes before he died, a Harley Davidson. I have those memories forever. And now when our kids grow up, they look at us and they go, you did that, you did this, you're going back to New Zealand, can we go with you? And you're going, absolutely, this life's for living.
Yeah.
You're creating memories. And we're getting on those stages, we're creating memories, we're reliving memories, but we're also doing it in conjunction with the fans that are coming to see us. It's a really special time.
Don't be surprised at just how loud some of these Kiwis are going to be at those shows, because they have waited a long time for this, and no one is going to. Yeah, okay.
No problem with that at all.
The louder, the better.
I said I was going to ask you the last question, but I've got one more. Because you actually, you look clear-eyed, you look bushy-tailed, your complexions look nice. You don't look tarnished by years in the industry. And we've interviewed many people that look tarnished because they are tarnished. The industry's worn them down. They've gone down the drug route or the booze route. Did you guys do that in those formative years and have stopped it, or was it just not your bag?
To be honest,
We definitely went down the booze route on occasion. No doubt about that.
Right.
But we were never a drug band. We never,
we definitely partied in the early years. I think, after the gigs and stuff like that, we would have, when we were younger, we would have, had a good amount of booze, but I think as the years rolled on, we slowed down. I think the major difference for us was that, like, we're very family orientated people. We all have children, we all got married, we're all still with our wives, and we're very much when we're not in Westlife world, we live extremely normal lives. We're doing the school runs, we're making the lunches in the morning, we're dragging them to their soccer practice and whatever activities they're into. Nicky does Irish dancing with his daughter. Like we're living that life, and then we come out of that life and we live this life. But we see this life as really just kind of like as this dream world that we're in, and we just get on with it. But like, really, we're so excited to go back to the other life.
Yeah.
Because it's all about family for us.
And I think as well on that, like the normal life side of it, like we will go down to the local pubs with our mates or now with our grown-up children, and we'll watch the rugby and we'll watch Ireland beat New Zealand.
We've only done it once or twice.
We'll have those moments.
We've only done it once or twice, don't you? We've done it twice.
We've done it a few more times.
It makes it exciting to watch at least, doesn't it?
Well, guys, listen,
At least nobody's giving you a run for your money.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
We've loved chatting with you, and you can see the authenticity in both of you. So we can't wait till you get here. And thank you very much for your time.
Look, it's passion. It's passion for us at this stage in our lives, and we just love what we do, and we're buzzing to get down to New Zealand and see all our Kiwi fans again.